Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to Kottabos Space Program, where today we are having a look at our 100th mod for this series, and to honor such a momentous occasion, I've decided to finally go and have a gander at the Kerbol Plus Planets Pack, which adds into the game new planets, new dwarf planets, a whole crap load of moons, and even a comet with a working particle trail, and that is just lovely and glorious and beautiful and every possible word you can think to describe something good. And, oh boy, I've been meaning to actually do this mod for a very, very long time, but it always seemed like there were just so many other mods that would pop up and push this one to the wayside. And I also have to admit, I kind of put it to the wayside myself because I'm not a huge fan of planet packs. I much prefer parts packs because to me, what most planet packs just end up doing is giving you a new place to land, and I don't see that as something hugely special. But every now and then there is a planet pack that does grab me, and this is one of them. I really, really do like this one, and I'm actually kind of annoyed at myself that I haven't looked at it until now. Because why this one grabs me is the fact that it's not just new planets thought up from the mind of some random forum user. It is actually a revival of a lot of the original ideas Nova Celesco, the former squad employee who was responsible for the planets in the solar system, a lot of his original ideas. I mean, there's a lot of planets and moons that didn't make it into the game that I remember reading about during development way back in the day in the early beta and alpha of this game. And it's just so wonderful to see those planets and moons finally come to life in the game, because I remember reading about them and going, holy crap, I can't wait to go visit that, and then it never came to be. From one decision or another during development, they were dropped, and this pack brings them back to life. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at all of them here in the tracking station, so let's jump in there real quick, and then we will go and take this little Kerbol Plus probe to take a closer look at a couple of the major ones. There are a lot of things added into this, and a lot of them, I mean, they're good. It's cool to see them, because again, Nova Celesco's original vision for a lot of the stuff in the solar system. But at the same time, I mean, it's still just a lot of moons and planets. But some of them are cool enough to definitely denote going to take a closer look. So if we zoom out at the full and total solar system that we now have, it's a bit more of a jumbled mess. This is our new solar system with this particular mod, and oh boy, do we have many, many new places to go and visit. Now, in the general order, we still have Moho, we still have Eve, and we of course still have Kerbin, which seems to be surrounded by a whole crap load of asteroids. But you may notice there's something also on the same orbital path as Kerbin, and that is Harvest. Now, Harvest, if we double-click on that, was meant to be an asteroid that, story-wise, if we open up the information panel here, it is thought to have been born from a huge chunk of rock that remained after Kerbin was basically smashed by another planet. And so it's essentially what could have potentially been the third satellite for Kerbin, but instead is just sort of trailing behind it a bit. And it's quite cool. I like the thought of that, you know, it could have been another moon, but no, sadly, it's on its lonesome self way out here, but is a cool little, I guess, dwarf planet you would call it, since it didn't orbit around Kerbin. A very nice coloring on it, very good high-detailed texturing, a very glorious little planet. Now, let us go way out. Oh boy, so much zooming in and out in this one. It's gonna wear out my scroll wheel. We then have Duna as always. We then have Drace as always, but you may notice another planet on a very, very similar course to Drace, and that is Valet. And Valet, if we zoom all the way the crap in, is a little dwarf planet which was discovered by scientists while apparently looking for other space potatoes. And yes, it is a lovely orangey, rusty colored planet. Very cool. Again, a very nice texturing. Very good modeling with it as well. It's got some good little topography on there. Very nice indeed. And of course, I really love the colors personally. It makes me smile. Now, I actually did forget one thing. I'm scrolling all the way back out. On Duna. I meant to stop here at Duna because Nova Celesco originally had envisioned a second moon for Duna. Now, of course, we have Ike here, but now we also have Vix, which, if we scroll in, is, just a second little moon for Drace here, a little bit farther out, a bit more topography on this one. You can see we've got some large craters there, etc., sort of more large craters over there. Overall, though, kind of a dreary-looking planet, or moon, rather. Oh god, I'm probably going to say that a lot. I'm probably going to call moons planets a lot in this episode. But overall, a nice little addition to Duna here. Very, very cool indeed. Alright, let's zoom all the way the crap out yet again and move swiftly on to, we have Jewel next in, oh no, wait, no, we were at Valet, then Pergos, there we go. I knew I had something before Jewel. Let us zoom all the way into Pergos here, and this poor planetoid has an orbit close to Drace. We assume it makes Drace feel slightly less lonely. I love that description, and I also love this planet. The coloring on it is just gorgeous. I love the sort of transition from the sort of rusty brown to this sort of, well, oh god, what kind of color would you call it? It's blue. It's blue, but I can't quite tell what sort of blue, and then into this orange. Very cool indeed. I like it a lot. It's quite possibly one of the, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful planets in this pack. I really, really like it. So, zooming all the way the crap out yet again, and we move on past Pergos, then Jewel, and then we have Elo, of course, and then we get to Krallis. All right, hold on. Did I miss something in here? I think I may have missed something in here somewhere. Hold on a moment. Pergos. Oh, no, I think we're good. Krallis, zooming back into Krallis. And this is another very cool planet and very unique, not only in its very awesome red, almost lava-like texture to it, but also the fact that you have all these just amazing canyons in this, that if you wanted to perhaps build yourself a little rocket plane, might be intriguing to go and fly through these canyons. Could be an interesting little challenge. And overall, just a gorgeous, gorgeous looking planet. I really do like it. Again, one of my favorites in this particular pack, and apparently it looks like it might be the home of the Kraken, according to the info panel here. Very nice. And then if we move on from Krallis, we have Sarvin. Hold on, I just want to check one thing. Jewel, Valet, Pergos, Duna. Yeah, I think we're good. Sarvin, there we go. And Sarvin is quite possibly one of the most important things in this particular mod, because Sarvin, well, A, also has a crap load of moons, but is also a gas giant with a gorgeous, gorgeous ring. And this is one of those posts that I remember on the forums ages ago when Nova Celesco was showing off what he was working on for the planets. This was originally called Ringed Gas Planet 2. And it was supposed to be in the game, but eventually got dropped out, and it is just gorgeous. I love the ring around it, the beautiful blue gas giant that it is. Got the nice little swirling storm right there. Very cool indeed. And it has a lot of moons. Now, of these moons, 4 of them I honestly don't care for. We have these S-whatever planets. There's S1, S2, S3, and S4. And they are literally just cloned asteroids that have been placed in orbit with different coloring and different orbital mechanics. So they're not too special. I honestly don't care for them very much. But the other moons that are here in Sarvin are glorious. The first of which is definitely my favorite moon in this entire thing, and that is Potatis. I love it because, as you can see here, it has a cryovolcano that is spewing ice out into the solar system, which... oh, there we go. It sometimes glitches, and the cryovolcano is slightly offset. It actually seems to be a little bit off, but it's mostly on today, so that's always good. It is a gorgeous-looking planet, or moon, rather, a little bit oblong, apparently by some mysterious gravitational force, and has this beautiful cryovolcano. Very nice detailed texturing on this. Very, very cool indeed. I love that moon. Now, next in line, we have Fonzo, which is a moon that has definitely seen better days. It's been pop-marked by a whole lot of asteroids, etc., smashing into it. And it's pretty interesting texturing and coloring, but what's the most interesting about this is Fonzo is supposed to be the legendary moon of extreme Kerbol sports, because it actually does have a very, very thin atmosphere. And you'll notice these mountains that we have on it, these mountain peaks, go up above, just slightly above that thin atmosphere. So on the base of the planet, the ground level, you have a very, 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 very thin atmosphere. Walk up the mountain and you can then use or get into space with the tiniest amount of delta V, because these mountaintops are just above any atmospheric resistance that you may have. Very, very cool moon to land on, very fun to play with. Next in line, we have, let's go to this one, Daffy. And Daffy is an interesting one, and one of my favorite texturing jobs, because it is a big ball of fluff that has started to crack, according to the description, and it's just such a beautiful texturing job. I really, really do enjoy this particular moon. Very nice, very cool indeed. Moving on, we have S1, Shale. There's another cool one. All right, and this, as you can see, has had a giant chunk taken out of it. From this angle, not exactly the most interesting of moons. From this angle, giant chunk taken out of the back end of it. A very, very awesome little moon. I quite like it. Poor thing's been hit by a lot of stuff and appears to be a very strange peak up at the top. I hadn't noticed that before. I think that might be a glitch. Okay, moving swiftly on. We then have, that's S2, and that's S4 and S3. I don't care about those. Again, asteroids, meh, not too important. We then have Keilon way out here. Or wait, hold on, let me just, nope. Next in line, Ganog. I'm trying to go in order here. Ganog. Let's zoom in. There we go. A very, very cool ball of ice that apparently has a seam right here, which I don't understand. I'm hoping that gets fixed at some point in the future, because it kind of looks like football stitching, and that's just weird to have on a big blue/white ball of ice. But a very cool texturing job on it. I do quite enjoy it. Now, next is a planet with another whole bunch of moons, and that is Keilon. Now, Keilon is another interesting one. It was originally supposed to be another gas planet designed by Nova Celesco, but was later repurposed as a giant, rocky, sandy planet. Absolutely gorgeous. And for those of you who like a challenge, it is a difficult one to land on because of the gravity and the atmospheric pressure. It's more difficult to land on than Eve. So very cool, very beautiful. And we have 3 moons that go with it. No, 4. 4 moons. There we go. So the first is Fiskul. There we are. Zoom in on that. And kind of a, little nice interesting moon. Again, been pot-marked by a lot of things. Seems to be sort of like half mostly gray, the side half mostly white. Quite interesting little thing, and apparently voted the perfect place to admire the mighty planet of Keilon for the past 4 years running. We then have Kalad here, which is an interesting coloring one. I love this. It's sort of like a greenish, bluish gray. Very nice on it, very cool topography, very interesting little moon. Apparently bombarded quite a bit during the Great Cataclysm. Very interesting. I love the descriptions on these. We then have Zargav, which is another Keilon moon. This one, honestly, I don't really care for this one much. It seems just kind of drab. But oh well, Zargav, here you go. Let's move on to the last 4th moon here. Oh, nope, that's Kalad. Womp. I love this one purely because of its name. It is glorious. I like the bright coloring on it. It's nice compared to a lot of the other planets that tend to be a bit drab and gray, etc., like the last one we looked at. But overall, kind of a little bit boring, though, honestly, I might say. But I do like the bright coloring on it. Again, another moon that's been marked by a whole lot of asteroids, etc. Very cool indeed. And the farthest out of the moons of Keilon. And then lastly, we have the comet Correlate, which if we zoom all the way the crap in on this thing, oh god, my scroll wheel, there we go, our comet with a working particle trail and just giant ridges of ice sticking out all over the place. That is a very inhospitable place to try and land. It is very, very spiky, but very, very cool nonetheless. I love it. So let's head back and, oh, actually, why did I go back? We can select my probe from here. All right, there we go. We will fly, and the first thing I want to point out when we are up in this probe is something in regards to the 1.0 release of the game. Of course, that has added in the new ore system, and I have already scanned the planet, and of course, as with the first look that we took up with the 1.0 update, you see that on Kerbin, we've got, high density areas, low density areas, other parts of the planet which seem devoid of any ore whatsoever, as you would see on any of the other stock planets. You got pockets of ores, and that's where you want to land your ships. Now, this ore system has been implemented on the new celestial bodies added in by Kerbol Plus, because of course these Kerbol Plus planets have been around a lot longer than the 1.0 update, but they've yet to be properly implemented with ore. And what I mean by that is if we go to Orbit Editor, select, move down, you gotta love Hyper Edit, and head over to, oh boy, which would be a good one to go and take a look at? Let's go to Phas, the first moon that we took a look at over there. Oh, actually, no, I forgot to take a look at this one in the tracking station, so never mind. Good thing we came here. Phas is another moon. It is around Eve, and it's purple, like Eve. Very cool. I can't believe I forgot to look at this one in the tracking station. But yes, another cool moon. Nice, gorgeous purple. But what I came here to go and look at in regards to our... Am I still in the map mode? I am still in the map mode. In regards to the ore, it hasn't been fully implemented yet, as all of the celestial bodies just look like this. They have ore, but it's just solid ore. Around the whole planet, a 3.44% average of ore. And this is what you'll find on all of the celestial bodies in the Kerbol Plus Planets pack. So it does have it, but you can grab it anywhere you land. So hopefully down the road in a new update, hopefully coming soon, this will be far better implemented, because it actually is, biomes are still something they're working on for these planets. So hopefully once they have all the biomes worked out, they'll also have the ore system worked out, and there'll be a more realistic distribution of ore, because right now it's just basically each planet is a giant ball of ore. But let's turn that off. Oh god, there we go. Undo the overlay before I forget, and let's head on over to... I think we should go to Sarvin, because like I said, that is just a beautiful planet and one of my favorites on it, just because of the, lovely memories that I have of, the Nova Celesco post from back in the day. I think that'll be a good orbit. Oh yeah, that's a good orbit. As we are by that glorious ring, you can see Patatis in the background with its cryovolcano, and of course the gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous blue gas giant that is Sarvin. I love this thing to death. It is just an absolutely beautiful planet, and this one planet alone with all of its gorgeous moons is reason enough, in my opinion, to pick up this mod. But if you aren't satisfied with that, let's go and take a look at Patatis and take a look at that cryovolcano close up. I do love it. And one interesting thing about Patatis before we get there, the cryovolcano, interestingly, also has its own oh god, what is the right term for this, actually? It's a celestial body, technically, according to HyperEdit. I could try and orbit it, but it would give me an error. But let's actually select Patatis, change this orbit to, 250,000, that should be good. There we go, and let's try and get ourselves into a more interesting position for the cryovolcano. Ah, there we are. Oh, look at that just gorgeous thing. It is simply beautiful. I just love that you have a planet now in the solar system spewing out ice. It's just beautiful. Absolutely great. And by far, my favorite planet in this whole pack. I love the slightly oblong shape. I love the cryovolcano. It is very, very cool indeed. Now, I think we're only going to look at one more of the celestial bodies up close and personal with the probe, because, well, I mean, we already looked at all of them one by one in the tracking station, and if we visited them all with the probe here, it would basically just repeating the same thing over and over that I said earlier. So let's go and take a look at the comet, because I do have something to point out with that. It's, oh god, it's laggy. It's laggy as hell. Let us just go. Oh, actually, before we do that, we probably should go take a look at Keilon, just to show you up close what that thing looks like. So let's do that. Move around a bit. Ah, beautiful. I love the atmospheric scattering. You get that beautiful red haze from the atmosphere on this planet. Very cool. Let's bring ourselves along a bit more. And there we go. This just sandy, rocky planet of Keilon with its beautiful selection of moons. Very nice indeed. A very gorgeous and glorious, humongous planet, which again is more difficult than Eve to actually land on. So lastly, let us go and take a look at the correlate, comet, and apply. And you'll notice, well, while we're here at about 250,000-ish meters out, good frame rate. I'm currently holding it about 45 right now. If we move in closer to about 150,000, our frame rate, oh, actually, it's surprisingly staying stable right now. Usually, when I get this close, my frame rate drops in half. It just dies on me, which, you know, isn't entirely, crazy to think about, because you do have all of these particle trails, etc., going on with this comet. Let's move in a bit more to 100,000. And, oh, yep, there goes my frame rate. It just halved itself as we are in the back of this particle trail. It is killing my frame rate at the moment, so let's move it into, I know, is a safe place at 25,000. And let's move our inclination a bit. Move this. There we go, a lovely little side shot of the comet here. And it is just beautiful. You've got these cool blue colors all over the place. There's a few spots where you kind of get this greenish blue. You just have all these insanely sharp peaks all over the place, and just a gorgeous particle trail coming off of it. A very, very cool celestial body to have in the game. I absolutely love it. I wonder how close we can get. Can we get to 10,000? Oh boy, I'm losing frame rate again. Oh yeah, we're right back in the trail. I think the trail is what does it. Don't be behind this thing. Alright, so up close and personal. Our frame rate actually is still kind of dying right now. It's about half of what it should be. Probably because it's having to process so much geometry with all of these peaks all over the place. Dear sweet Jebediah, that is gorgeous. And I can't even imagine how in the world you'd land on that thing. But yes, this has been the Kerbol Plus Planets Pack and our 100th mod spotlight for this series, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you want to download this mod for yourself, you can follow the link in the description as always, and I hope you do. It is beautiful, and if you've been in this game for a while and you remember Nova Silisko's contributions to the solar system, you'll probably remember a lot of these things and remember it fondly, and also potentially a little disappointed if you know, since we didn't get them in the game, especially Sarvin. Oh boy, I love Sarvin, that just giant gas planet with those beautiful rings. It is gorgeous. So do go and download this, and I hope you have enjoyed this episode today, and of course that you come back for the next. But until then, thank you for watching, my friends, and as always, have a good one.